Alright, here's a load to Alaska. Concrete panels. I'm going to Fairbanks. And yes, I tried my best to clean this windshield off. There's still some bugs, I know. So that's the load. We're taking off right now. Wait a minute. Hold on. Alright. Always check my fifth wheel to make sure somebody hadn't pulled the pin on it. No drink of coffee. No. Just doing a tug test is not enough. Because you can do a tug test on here and it be loose or it'd be released, and you know, it may not go anywhere when you tug on it. You go to take off and it will. So yeah, so we're heading for Fairbanks, Alaska. This is it. This is it. No, I'm not going to sing. Don't worry. Not going to sing. Now, I was going to change trucks, but the guy who brought the truck down, they put the truck together in Alaska, and somebody brought it down here, and I was going to swap earlier today at the yard here in the Idaho Falls area. And he had two radiator hoses go out on him on the way down. And so the boss was like, look, man, I'd like for somebody to look the truck over down here and make sure that everything's good. I don't want you getting halfway up there and having a problem. And I'm like, that is perfectly fine with me. You know, he said, I can always change trucks when I get back. I do not want to be, you know, stuck somewhere on the Alaska highway. So I had no problem with that. Nothing wrong with this truck. It's not a bad truck. It's like I've always said, it's a haul road truck. It's heavy and it's geared low, and you know, it's just really not made for what we do. It's not made for these higher speeds on the interstates down here. I mean, it's made for what we do up there. It's not made for what we do kind of all over. And since the haul road's been slow and I haven't been doing any haul road runs, I don't really need it at the moment. So if we get busier up there later on or this winter and I do some haul road runs, I'll jump in a haul road truck and do it. But anyway, so still an old truck 17. Well, not anxious per se. I'm curious, I guess you could say, to see how this load is going to ride up the Alaska highway, man. Especially through Yukon with the frost heaves and such. I'm really hoping that it doesn't give me any trouble, but we'll see what happens. Adjust this camera. Shelby, Montana. And then I'll stop there and fill up all 3 tanks. Not real heavy. vibration in this truck. I got a different trailer. I'm wondering if maybe, I don't know, I got a drive shaft or something. I don't know. Something. I don't have any tires wearing funny. I don't know. It's hard to keep steer tires on the front of this thing because the front end's heavy. Really should have 24.5s on it. Brought my truck down from Alaska. He was like, yeah man, that thing will do 90. I'm like, alright bro, I'm good. I don't need any tickets. I probably won't be running 90 in it. My plan is to get to Calgary or somewhere around Calgary, Alberta. Take a break there. I'm going to recap some hours here after midnight Alaska time, which is in another hour or so. It's almost midnight here, so 2 hours from recapping in Alaska. I'll run on Alaska time. I'm almost positive I'm going to have to take a 36 hour break on my way up. Probably Fort Nelson or something. I'll get on the Alcan and do it. I could have done it down here, but let me get on up the road. In theory, I should be able to make it to Calgary, Alberta. It's only a little over 10 hours from here. Of course, once I get into Canada, I gain a couple of driving hours. No 30-minute break to worry about, but I'll probably have to take one before I get out of the States. I don't think I'll make it. It's 440 something miles to Shelby, Montana, where I'm going to fill up. I'll probably just, if I can make it there, I can make it anywhere. No, if I can make it there, I'll just do a 30-minute break there. But if I can make it to Fort Nelson and do a 36, number one, there's all kind of stuff around me there where I can park. I can park over there by the Tim Hortons or whatever. Which I've got food in the truck. I'm not worried about that. But something a little different. Great. I don't know what the speed limit is through here. He didn't budge. I just realized I was doing 71. The speed limit was still 65 back there. He didn't budge. He's probably looking for the big speeders. He's looking for these guys doing, just four-wheelers that are flying through here. Yeah, he's still sitting. That's all you need, Robert. Get your speeding ticket. That's all you need. Just light it up. Bam. Light it up with my floodlights. making them. That's why we had to wait. They're just now starting to make them. And my understanding is they're building a big church in Fairbanks, and that's what these are for. And I'm hanging over just a hair over the sides. Just a smidgen, as they say. This is a 96 or a 102. I didn't really pay attention, to be honest. But it's not a spread axle. But I'll have to sneak in and out of British Columbia at least one more time with this long wheelbase truck. In fact, somebody asked me today at our yard, don't we give you any trouble with that long wheelbase truck in British Columbia? I said, no, I don't cross any open scales. I'm sure if I cross some open scales, they would. But that's how you remedy that. You don't cross any open scales. Now some Karen will jump on the phone to BC. There's a guy gonna be running through there with a long wheelbase truck, bragging that he don't go through no open scales up there. You know what else I don't have on this trailer? I don't have any tarps. No tarps. They got left on the other trailers. I don't, of course, but they don't really tarp anything in Alaska anyway. It sounds like I would be bringing anything back down just to the tarps. I think what the plan is either I'm bringing a dry van back down with the load, or I'm bringing two step decks back down. You know, one stacked on top. We need step decks bad. In fact, I think he's buying one. I'd prefer to have a step deck. Either a reefer or a step deck. One of the two. These loads are going to get taller. This load right here is probably about right at 13 to 6. I was looking at it. I didn't pick it up. Another driver picked it up in Salt Lake. But I was parked next to two reefer trailers and just kind of eyeballing. It looked like I'm almost like exactly the height that they are, this load. So, yeah, they get any taller. And we're going to have to do a step deck or something. Just saying. Idaho got rid of their truck speed limit, which I heard they were going to do. It's now just 80 mile an hour for everybody. And you already got the guys, truck drivers. Oh, there's going to be a lot more crashing. Oh, no, there's not. Number one, most of these company trucks can't do 80 miles an hour. Okay? And a lot of owner-operators aren't, just simply because of fuel mileage. And even if they do, so what? Split speed limits are more dangerous. And most of these cars, speed limit's 80, they're doing 85, whatever. Look, man, just stop with this. You know, I don't know. Let me tell you something. I feel a lot safer going 75 mile an hour in a 18-wheeler in an 80,000 2,000-pound truck than I do in a little bitty car. And I definitely feel safer than going 80 mile an hour on a bike. I feel much safer in this thing. And with these modern trucks, 80 mile an hour doesn't feel like anything except to cruise on 78, 80. It's not a big deal. The speedometers back in the day, man, on our way back from the West Coast. You guys be dropping kittens and stuff we used to do. They've been talking about it. Years and years ago, because I'm old, they didn't have a truck speed limit in Idaho. Then they put one in, and the thing was, it was supposed to be just for the guy, just for anything over 5 axles. Over 5 axles. Like, if you were pulling like, some of these Rocky Mountain doubles or something like that, that's what it was supposed to be for. But that's not what they did. They did it for all trucks, 5 axles or over. So that means just about every big truck out there. Unless you're pulling a single screw truck or pulling a single axle trailer, which most people aren't doing anymore. That happened, late 90s, early 2000s, and they've been trying to get rid of it ever since. But it's funny to hear truck drivers whining about it, because they bought into this crap. I don't know. I'm just, whatever. You believe whatever you want to believe. Like I said, most of these company trucks, they're not going to be going that fast. And most guys are going to be going the same speed. I've always run about 72, 73 in Idaho. Never had a problem. I don't know, I may, once I get a truck geared a little, not geared as low as this one, I may run 75 or something. I doubt I'll be doing 80 unless maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm in a big hurry or something. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I see British Columbia's got speed limiters. Yeah, they got mandatory speed limiters. Your truck is not supposed to be able to go over 65 mile an hour. My truck can. Once I get into British Columbia, my truck cannot go over 65. The computer shuts it down, limits it to 65 mile an hour. I'm just saying, that's what it does. And I believe Quebec. My friends up in the Great White North helped me out with that. I believe Quebec also has speed limiters. See, that wasn't supposed to spread beyond Ontario. I remember when that happened. It was, oh no, it's just Ontario. Nobody else is going to do that. Meanwhile, states like Ohio are upping the truck speed limit. So, I think we're good for a while. Now, Montana, I don't know what's going on with Montana with their truck speed. And I don't see Montana ever changing. I don't. Montana is almost like the California of the Rockies, man. I don't get Montana. They really got a burr in their bonnet for trucks, man. The state police, I mean. I don't know. Montana's a funny state in a lot of ways. Read much of the story, but I guess there's a driver that hit a Massachusetts state cop or something. It was on the side of the road or what. I don't know the whole story, but yeah, that'll get you in prison for a long time. Look, I remember when cops used to pull trucks over and do DOT inspections on the shoulder of the road. People were getting killed. Truck drivers were getting killed. Cops were getting killed. And finally, they stopped doing it in most states. Because it's not worth a little bit of revenue you're generating. I won't get out of the truck. If a guy wants to pull me over the shoulder of the road, I'll tell him, I'm not getting out of the truck. You want to get out of your car and risk your life to generate a little revenue for the state, brother, that's all on you. I'm not getting out of the truck on the side of the interstate. Way stations are for. So of course, once I get to Canada, I won't be uploading any videos until I get to Fairbanks or the North Pole. This 2 weeks, I think I'll be averaging 3,500 miles a week. I get paid bi-weekly, so today's, it's Saturday now here. So I've got today and tomorrow. My time goes in tomorrow night. on the 4th of July. That's unpatriotic. That's un-American. Because it's after midnight. It is now the 4th of July. That's un-American. This thing's way down there. I wonder if you could blow it. I'm not going to blow it. Obviously, I'm here now, but I'm just saying. I wonder if you could get away with blowing it. I used to blow that one in Florida on I-4 because you can't see the highway from the scale. And of course, then once we got pre-pass, I didn't do that anymore because they know. Come on out, FedEx. Alright folks, I'm going to pause this while I go through the scale. I'll be back. Maybe. And I made it out alive. One thing I was worried about is, like I said, this load's hanging over just a hair. I don't want some cop getting perturbed about that. Oh, you got to put up an oversized load sign. You're hanging over. Not hanging over that much, man. Get over yourself. It breaks your momentum, you know. I mean, you're going along good, everything's right with the world, and bam, you gotta stop. It's not necessarily always about, you know, you got something to hide. But that's what you hear from the highway Karens. Anyway, back to what I was doing. Montana's closed. I don't know, Idaho's open. About these scales up here in Butte, Montana. The only place that ever almost went to jail in this business. I've told that story a few times. Save some money instead of paying these guys the scales to work overnight. They could use some of that money to fix this road. I guess that would make too much sense. just keep heading north to Alaska. As the old song goes. Coffee cools off like faster than the Love's coffee. Man, that Love's coffee, whew, that stuff stays hot forever. Maybe it's the cups age or something. Flying J coffee cools off pretty quick. I think that Love's coffee is hotter. I mean, it's almost undrinkable for a while. You just gotta let it sit there for a bit. If I put it in my Yeti cup, then it really takes forever for it to cool off. Probably upload this one when I get to Shelby. And then I probably won't do any more until I get up well up on the Alcan. Go into Calgary, if I don't take the ring road around, I can stop at that Flying J there in town. We'll see what time I get there. Stop there. There's a couple of places between Calgary and Edmonton. I used to cut north of Calgary, and then I cut off on secondary roads, and it's kind of like a shortcut. You'd work your way up to Whitecourt that way, but I don't know. I find it's just faster just run to Edmonton and take the ring road around and get on the Trans-Canada that way. Be done with it. Instead of all this turn here, turn there, turn here. I mean, it's just kind of a pain. That's probably what I'll do. It'd be nice crossing from Sweetgrass up here. Last couple of times I've been doing it in Washington, having run to Cassiar. No Cassiar this week, not going up anyway. We'll see about coming back. Watched my videos before, you know I'm not fond of the Cassiar Highway. This trip will start the Alaska Highway from the very beginning. Get up there and get a service done on the truck, and a few little things need to be done, odds and ends. Nothing major. Guys, you think California will ever get rid of their truck speed limit? Every few years I hear rumors about, oh yeah, the CHP's lobbying to get rid of it. It never happens. Although I remember back in the day, no one thought Ohio would ever get rid of theirs. Oregon up theirs. I remember in Oregon it used to be 55 for trucks. Why Michigan and Indiana have truck speed limits, I have no idea. I don't even know what that's about. I thought when Illinois got rid of theirs that would, I mean, I figured Indiana and Michigan would worry about that so much up here, but you get down there across Arizona, Texas, California, you know, Nevada, you get down, or even like down in southern Utah and such. You know, we'd run between Dallas and the West Coast. You know, we'd always try to run it at night as much as possible in the summer. Even running tall rubber. You know, but once they went to the 22.5s, especially. Gouging on it, as they used to say. Had that old 85 Freightliner. That thing would burn coal, man. The old B model cat. The B model 4.25 cat with 18 speed behind it. Man, she would walk and talk. Crap for fuel mileage, but that diesel was cheap back then. That's before they started taking the sulfur out of it. They didn't have to refine it. That's a lot of things people don't realize. Diesel used to be really cheap because they didn't have to refine it. It was whatever was left over after they made gasoline. So it was cheap. Then the government, in their infinite wisdom, decided it's not good for the environment. Let's start taking the sulfur out and then start refining it. And it went up. And of course the price of gas went up because you had to take away refinery space that you were using for gasoline to now refine diesel. And then they went to ultra low sulfur diesel, so they had to do even more refining on it. And, you know, the rest is history. It also wreaks havoc on older engines. Diesel used to be a lubricant, and it would lubricate seals and gaskets and things as it ran through the engine. Diesel was basically almost like an oil. Super red diesel there in Dallas. You really burn coal with that stuff, boy. Them old trucks used to blow flames, man, back in the day. You don't see trucks like that at all anymore. Take it easy in that old Freightliner in California, because California's starting to crack down on smoke. Come through the way station or something, I'd have to be easy on the gears, man. I don't want to blow too much smoke. That's when trucking was trucking, man. bunch of handy ass, whatever the hell it is now, interactive cruise and crash mitigation and all that safety equipment that, driver facing cameras, and we got more accidents now than we did then. Of course you are. Of course you are. Of course you are. Sat behind me all that time. He sat behind me for a while. Passes me up just to take the exit. 12:30 in the morning, Howard. You still got to deal with idiots out here.